the star of NBA All-Star Sunday, which I enjoyed thoroughly. I really did. I actually like the one-day format. I don't think they'll go to that, because All-Star Weekend is a thing. And it's just, they spread it out over the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I enjoyed everything in one night. And I thought Steph Curry was a star. Steph Curry won the three-point shootout, got major love. I mean, Reggie Miller calling him the best shooter of all time, which means a lot coming from a Reggie Miller who played against and with Larry Bird, or for Larry Bird as a coach. And who himself, some people might try to say he was the best shooter of all time. LeBron, I don't know if you saw that gushing tweet, Rob, did you see LeBron's tweet about Steph after the game?
No, I saw LeBron's 4 points in 13 minutes. Go ahead.
LeBron gushed. Maybe he only played 13 minutes or whatever it was because he wanted to watch Steph. But he said he was so thankful for finally playing on Steph's team. These were the hashtags, Rob, that LeBron put on his tweet for Steph. And I know this is eating up Rob G. Hashtag greatest shooter of all time. Hashtag changed the game by himself alone. Like LeBron was driving it home by himself alone. And hashtag respect beyond words. So, and then something like hashtag two kids from Akron, because Steph was born in Akron when his dad was playing with the Cavs. But, yeah, so good. And then obviously he had a great game. Could have been the MVP. A lot of people thought he should have won it. Dame Lillard certainly had a strong argument as well. But Giannis, I get it. I mean, 16 for 16. I know it was 9 dunks and several other layups, and
that's
then
the NBA. That's the NBA.
Right, well, that's my thing. Like Rob, the All-Star games are always a bunch of uncontested dunks and layups, but nobody's gone 16 for 16. You know, so
no, he should have been 16 for 16. If you can't win the MVP for being perfect, come on.
It's too hard to overlook. He didn't have the most impact. I thought that was Steph. And then late when it was out of hand, Dame went off. But it's just hard not to reward perfection like that. So anyway, Steph talked after the game, and here's what he said.
What fuels you? What more do you have to accomplish?
I have a lot to accomplish. I don't have anything to prove. There's a little subtle difference there. But what drives me is just having fun. I truly love to play basketball. I'm just appreciative and grateful that it's at the highest level, and I get to kind of still pursue a higher level of excellence on the court. As we all know, our careers have a finite window, and you never know when the basketball gods, if you will tell you to hang them up. So as long as I feel healthy and strong and able to keep doing what I'm doing, the joy naturally comes out, and that fuels everything. With my teammates, with that season-to-season grind, chasing championships and all that. I just love it.
Well, the meaty part of that quote, of course, was, I have a lot left to accomplish, but nothing to prove. And I think he was saying that purposely. Like, I don't have anything to prove, but I got a lot left to accomplish. Your thoughts, Rob?
Of course. He wouldn't have to mention that if he didn't know that there are people who still question him. Why would you even put that in? I don't have anything to prove. Well, nobody asked you that. That wasn't even what the question she asked. She asked about what else do you feel like you want to accomplish or something. That was the question. I didn't hear anything about having to prove anything. That's because deep down, he knows that there are people who probably don't buy in all the way that he's that guy that people talk about, who hasn't won an MVP in the finals, who also choked down a 3-1 lead that had never happened in the NBA finals. A guy that when Kevin Durant showed up, took over his team like he took his lunch money. So there's stuff that people look at. If you're one of those guys, transcendent players, nobody can come on your team and be bigger than you. No, I don't care what they say. If you're truly a transcendent player, Kevin Durant can't overshadow you. And
Kevin Durant's better.
and he dwarfed him. I'm just talking about a
How could he not? He
transcendent
didn't
player.
dwarf. How did he dwarf him?
Chris,
They
it's
average
my
about the same amount of
opinion.
points. I'm
It's my
asking you
opinion.
questions, so
I'm just
explain.
telling you, it's my opinion.
They average about the same amount of points.
The guy who won both Finals MVPs, and to me was the biggest part in them winning those 8 out of 9 playoff Finals games, was Kevin Durant to me. That's all.
Steph is right. And that's why I thought yesterday was so big, because there has been this narrative out there that some players don't respect him, or he's overrated and all that. That's why I thought the weekend was huge, because a lot of those people that, you saw stars of the game, transcendent players, as you said, Rob, giving him major love. Reggie Miller doesn't have to call Steph Curry the greatest shooter of all time, but he does. That's huge. The woman who interviewed him after the game, I can't think of her name, she called him the greatest shooter of all time. Now, I might not mean much coming from her, but it just shows that now they're throwing it out there. She's probably throwing it out there because of Reggie. Kenny Smith, who we all know knows the game, former player, and actually was clutch. We remember him with the Houston Rockets winning some of their championships. He said that, which I don't even agree with this statement, but for him to say during the three-point shootout that of all the guys in the league right now, the one that I would want taking the last shot is Steph Curry. That's huge. Again, he don't have to say that. LeBron James played with Giannis. He played with all these other superstars yesterday, and yet he sends out a tweet about Steph Curry. This is a guy who has lost championships to Steph. 3 to be exact. Is it 3? 3 times Steph beat him in the finals, and yet he's giving him that kind of love. So I don't think Steph Curry has a darn thing to prove. We heard Shaq last week, which, again, we disagreed with, but still, Shaq said he's had more influence than any other player of the last 30 years. So he gets mad respect. I mean, I don't know again, to me, nothing to prove. He's changed the game. He's won 3 championships. I think he's the best, quote unquote, small player of all time. And he's playing at the top of his game. Who knows how much longer he'll play. But he's absolutely right. He's got still stuff to accomplish, as does LeBron. And Tom Brady is feeling that way, even as he's won 7 Super Bowls. So, I thought he handled it very well. And if indeed there are the haters out there, which I'm sure there are, I thought he said maybe he was addressing them, and it's fine, because I can't imagine what in the world he has left to prove. Does Steph Curry still have stuff to prove?
Here's one thing he could prove. He's 0 for 9 to win a game in the playoffs in his career. With his shot would win the game. So he's yet to make one of those shots, but I guess it doesn't matter. Other people are making them. Walter in Denver, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox
3.
Sports Radio.
He's good.
What you got?
Hey, fellas. Yeah, so I heard this was about 1 or 2 years ago, wasn't it? Jordan and some of those guys saying they wouldn't put Steph in the top 10. Just going to get your thoughts. Seems like kind of, some of the old school players are coming up and saying, yeah, he's the greatest shooter now. But, what's changed the last couple of years where it kind of seemed like he was getting sniffed and snubbed when they had those great runs with his teams at Golden State. Sounds like a different tune now being changed. Is it new players wanting to play with him and maybe beef him up to get him out of Golden State, or what's going on?
Well, I mean, top 10, just because guys aren't putting him in the top 10, I mean, that top 10 is hard to crack. In fact, I don't know. People aren't even in agreement on the top 10 because they're really about 12 or 13 guys that people feel like are deserving of that top 10. So I don't think that's a slight. Nick Wright, we were on First Things First this morning. He was joking. Of course, he loves all things LeBron. And he was joking that when Steph's a free agent in a couple years, he's going to join LeBron in the Lakers. So maybe LeBron was throwing that out there to start to pave the way for to try to recruit Steph. Who knows? Hey, I mean, if Brooklyn, if I don't see Steph leaving Golden State, first of all, but if Brooklyn ran off 2 championships and just destroyed everybody, would a Steph LeBron, team up be that out of the question? I don't know. Who knows what could happen by then? But I wouldn't predict it.
Max in Georgia, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Max?
What's up, guys? Appreciate you.
What up, bro?
I'm going to go a little different if that's all right on this. I thought this was kind of a shot at Kyrie, and here's why. When he said he finally got to share the floor with Steph Curry, and it was well overdue, loved every second of it, I took that as a shot at Kyrie based on what Kyrie had said a few months prior or weeks prior about KD and having a closer and finally having a guy. Add to that when he said, greatest shooter of all time, changed the game, did it by himself. That, to me, was a shot at KD because KD is the guy who won 2 titles, arguably for Steph, and I took that as another shot. It's like he forgot about Klay Thompson, and then the funny thing was when they said greatest shooter, unanimous MVP, you also have to add to that guy's resume, he's got the biggest finals choke job. So I think
in the history of the NBA, right, the history.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he's also got 3 rings. Like the first thing you think of when you think of Steph is not, first guy to blow a 3-1 lead.
That's what I think of.
That's fine. That's you. That's your opinion, remember?
Right.
But the rest, most people,
That's
they
how
don't
I
think
do it.
about
Normally,
that.
when it comes out of my mouth, it's my opinion, yes.
So why you keep saying it's my opinion then?
Sean in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
My uncle's from another mother, man. My brother's behind the boy. Y'all better keep it nice today, man. No more walking off, Rob. We need a 2-man show all day today, brother.
What are you talking about?
And it's Magic City Monday, baby. You turn that frown upside down, man. Turn that frown upside down. My take real quick, man, is I think I'm going to go the opposite of what Max was talking about. I think he's lightweight humble bragging, man. By bigging up a dude like bigging up a dude like Steph. LeBron's just kind of making a sideways excuse for the couple L's he took in the championship. If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be the next greatest, right? And then on top of that, man, I'm not going to say LeBron would do something like that and diss Kyrie. He's not petty like Kyrie is. He's not in his feelings all the time like Kyrie is. He has nothing else to prove. He's comfortable in his skin. And I think Steph is the same way, man. I don't think he really has anything left to prove. 3 championships, 2 MVPs, only unanimous MVP. He's about to be the number 1 3-point champion. So what else does he have to prove, man? He got guys wearing old man shoes and shooting threes from half court everywhere you go in the gym, man. Steph is one of the best.
It's interesting. These are some interesting calls, Rob. I don't think LeBron was taking a shot at Kyrie. I don't see that. Could it be Max brought up he thought he was taking a shot at KD? I mean, I guess possibly. Nobody says KD changed the game, though. So would that really be seen as a shot at KD? I could see that more than Kyrie, but I think that is even a stretch. And then the humble brag is interesting because you know who used to big up their opponents, like make their opponents larger than life. So it felt like when he beat them, it made him bigger. Muhammad Ali used to do that. I mean, he would big up Oscar Bonavenia, Jerry Quarry. I mean, forget Foreman and Frazier and all these guys, but all the other guys, he would talk about them too in beating them down. So I don't know. I think these guys are reading some interesting things into this tweet from LeBron, Rob.
Ron in Fresno, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
First of all, I just want to say I think you guys' show is banging. I can listen to you guys every day on the way home from work.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate that.
Next, I'm not a Steph Curry fan whatsoever. However, I will give him the props on. I'm not a hater, so I will give him a props on. He is the greatest shooter of all time. And then the other thing is, does he have something to prove? Unfortunately, for like a person like LeBron and Kobe, those guys are, to me, elite, legit players who can win championships on their own with just a little made-up roster. Steph Curry, he's not that guy. He's just going to always have the shoes to fill of being the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think he'd ever be able to win a championship by himself. He's not that dude. So does he have anything left to prove? Maybe that, yes, he can win another championship with a team built around him. But if not, he's always going to be going down as just the greatest shooter ever. And leave all those GOAT calls for LeBron and Kobe and Jordan, which I think they're all the greatest of all time. Why compare one to the other? They're all greater than any.
We'll beep that out. Here's the thing, and I think you agree with this, Rob. Nobody's won them by themselves. Now, nobody's putting Steph in the GOAT conversation. I mean, you're right about that. LeBron's obviously in there. People throw Kobe in there, and that's fine too. Nobody's going to put Steph in the GOAT conversation. But I don't think it's fair to say, oh, he's never, he couldn't win it by himself because, yeah, he couldn't, but who could? I mean, LeBron has won it with Dwayne Wade, who was the number 4 pick in the draft, and Chris Bosh, who was the number 5 pick, I think, and something like that. Anthony Davis, the number 1 pick. Kyrie Irving, the number 1 pick. Kevin Love, a high lottery pick. Draymond Green was a 2nd-round pick. Klay Thompson was a low lottery pick. So, I mean, everybody needs help. So I think you got to rethink that when you say what you just said about Steph. All right, we are going to be joined by our friend Josina Anderson in a moment. But first is Brian Finley with the update.